Hello, welcome, Ryan Monnier. Hello, Facebook. I am excited for this live cast today. We're going to be doing these fairly regularly, and from here on out, I'm going to be basically doing all these live casts based off of the questions that I get from you guys, and via Messenger, via email, via a phone call and text. We have been getting a significant amount of questions kind of about like what people can do to help themselves right away. And I know like right now it's a really huge time of transition for a lot of people. So people are really, at least we're getting a lot of people who are having a hard time like actually getting into a regular yoga practice just because like they're moving, summer's here. It's totally common. This happens a lot this time of year. And I want to just give something that is that just adds a lot of value and give you some actionable stuff that you can do today. You don't have to start, you don't have to come with me. You don't got to go anywhere to do this. This will be just information that you can take today. Because I always hate you get on these things and like they hard sell you on like, hey, come do our 90-day program for $5,000 and we'll tell you more. That's not going to happen today. So before we get started, because we're going to give a couple of minutes to let Facebook go through its algorithm and get this out into the world, I'm going to just introduce who I am and why you should listen to me. My name is Brian Monnier, and I have been a full-time yoga teacher for going on 19 years now. I can't believe it's been 19 years. 98, 99, I think is when I started. And I got into this stuff very long ago for my own body because I had really hurt my back and my knee through a series of martial arts related injuries. And when I was 25 or 26, I kind of was at the point where I gained a lot of weight. My back was really bad, and my knee definitely was worse than my back. And my doctor at the time wanted to actually do a pretty significant knee and back surgery on me within a year of seeing me, and within a year of each other. And I didn't really have the money. I didn't really have the time to take off of work at the time. And I asked him what I could do, and he suggested yoga, which that kind of led me to a very long road of discovering more about health and nutrition, really becoming a yoga teacher. I was blessed to have a very good friend and former girlfriend who dragged me to my first yoga class here in San Francisco at a place that is now called Yoga Haven, and it just kind of snowballed from there. From there I met my teacher Tony Sanchez, where I spent about 4.5 years with him directly. I went off to study various modalities of healing, including body rolling. I've followed her work for many, many years. I've been a follower of Paul Chek's work for many years. I use his work a lot in my nutrition and lifestyle analysis stuff. His book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, is by far the best book I've found on the subject of overall fitness and how to help yourself. And we're going to go over today some of the things that you can do, and it comes from his book actually, that will help you in this. And as I became a yoga teacher, I realized that there were a lot of people like me when I first started doing yoga that just wanted to feel better and get a decent workout without the mumbo jumbo or the scene of a yoga studio. Because I know at the time it was like you kind of went in and unless the instructor was a real senior level instructor, they didn't help you much. There'd be a bunch of people in classes. The instructors weren't really super qualified, and very little people gave attention to beginners or those with specifically with injury. So that kind of became my thing. And over the course of 19 years, I've developed a very specific process that has helped thousands of my clients eliminate their chronic pain, lose weight, get in shape, and live a better, more holistic life. It's one of the things that we do better than anybody else in town, and we are highly focused on it. So we're really good about getting people getting them into a dedicated program that really gets a result in a very specific amount of time. So we're starting to get some views here. So let's get it started. Give me a heart, give me a like, let me know where you're at. If you're in town, all throughout this broadcast, please also post any comments, any questions you have below, and at the end of this presentation, I will get to them. So we are going to actually talk about three very specific things, and the first one is the most important. 90% of most people's joint back pain come from, number one, improper nutrition, and number two, poor lifestyle habits. And a third one is usually a trauma, which is like a broken neck or broken back, you break something in a athletic related or non-athletic related, maybe a drunken party trick, you hurt yourself. But for the most part, when it comes to chronic pain, you're going to be really looking at either A, you have a digestive system that is really, really unhappy, or B, you have got some kind of lifestyle habit that is making your pain worse, i.e. like you work 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, you don't get any rest, and you have been doing it for a really significant amount of time, coupled on bad nutrition. Suddenly you move wrong and your back hurts and it just won't quite go away, or you start developing sciatica and it just won't go away. You know, especially once you get into your 30s and 40s, it really gets worse. You're going to, until you resolve that situation of what it is in your nutrition and your lifestyle that is preventing you from getting pain relief. It doesn't matter what type of exercise you do, how much yoga, how much physical therapy, it doesn't matter. The way that the body works is you have to heal yourself from the inside out, and that begins with your food and your lifestyle habits. So how do we change our nutritional habits? Without going on crash diets, which I am not an advocate of, without going on caloric restrictive diets, which I'm not an advocate of. It's actually very, very simple. You want to find how your body digests food the best, right? Everybody's a little bit different. This is why diets don't work for everybody. This is why, you can put somebody on a high protein diet, and for one person it works, but one it doesn't, because the person who is more apt to being able to digest large amounts of protein better will do better on that nutrition, versus somebody who does carbohydrates, which is something that does not have eyes in nature, would not do well on a high protein diet. They're going to do better on a higher carbohydrate diet, and maybe even be more inclined to be vegetarian. So the way that you do that is, number one, you can look up metabolic type eating. There are a variety of quizzes you can take online. It's about 15 question quiz. Pick up Paul Chek's How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. That's a great book to do it, because it'll give you kind of a bigger scope of what you need to do. But you're going to fall in three categories. Either A, you're going to be a protein eater, B, you're going to be mixed type, where you can go both ways, or C, you're going to be a carb type. That's it. Real simple. And then you just eat the proper ratios of what that metabolic type is. Now, this is going to do a couple of things. Number one, your digestion immediately is going to respond. And if you're high in fungus and parasites, which most people are nowadays, your skin's going to go a little crazy. You might get a little bit of headaches as the parasites die off. But what will happen is, as your digestion kind of begins to feel better, this is kind of the process. So if your digestion is full and it's unhappy because you're not eating the proper ratios, you're not eating the proper amounts of food, you're eating like junk food all the time, your large intestine basically swells, right? In that process of swelling, that's where your body takes nutrition. So if it's swelling, the body needs to grab nutrition from something. So it starts to squeeze the feces that's in your gut to survive, right? Once it's done with the feces, it starts to go to the joints, which is why you will end up more than likely getting unexplained long-term chronic joint pain if you have not addressed this issue. And if your digestive process is perforated and it's puffy, remember that it sits in the waistline against the spine, right? If it's not functioning correctly, if the internal organs aren't working correct, and it's inflamed, which is a huge problem. If you have kind of a poofy belly and you just can't get rid of it, you're not fat, you're just full of literally shit. And you've got to get it out of you, and that process is through food and proper water and rest. So if your digestive process is swelling up, it pushes up against all the muscular structure in your abdominal wall, and your abdomen can't grab correctly, right? It can't brace because the waistline wants to brace like a corset around your waist to keep your neck and your shoulders and your brain safe. And if it can't do that, then it's going to start making compensations to other muscle groups, which ends up eventually causing back pain, joint pain, and kind of the long line of stuff that you're probably watching this live cast for. So as you begin to learn how to eat to your metabolic type, and your body starts feeling better, the next thing that you're going to want to do in the nutrition category is make sure that you're consuming lots of high-grade filtered water. Now, if you're living in San Francisco, yes, we do have an excellent source with a Hitachi. However, the pipes between the source and you are often very old, so you should put it through some kind of filtration system rather than just drinking out of the tap. I've got a pure filter on my sink at the house. We go through a lot of cartridges, and it's worth it, especially with our 3-year-old, who is at the most raw form of being healthy you can be. We want to make sure that he's got the best digestive system possible, so that he gets sick occasionally, but it's not very common for him. With proper water hydration, water is your natural fat cutter. Water is your natural irrigator, and your digestive system will eliminate a lot of fungus and parasites and get rid of a lot of the bad stuff in your gut that, pardon me, that is causing a lot of your pain. The next thing we can do is, if you are high in fungus and parasites, and if you do get Paul Chek's How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, there's a lifestyle questionnaire quiz, which is actually very vital to this, because you got to also be sleeping well. You have to get a good, you have to be eating at the right times. Now, right times means that you're a breakfast eater, lunch eater, and a dinner eater, and not at later times in the day. So, like, if you're a shift worker who's a bartender, this was a huge problem for me when I first started. I was going to bed very late, and I wasn't waking up till 11 o'clock. My body was already in starvation mode even when I was asleep, so by the time I woke up, my metabolism was really messed up, and it was really, really difficult for me. It was much easier when I stopped waiting tables and started teaching yoga, because I started living a day life. But getting proper amounts of sleep, eating it in the morning, eating in the afternoon, and eating at night do really matter. Getting snacks in between, if you need them, really matters. And if you are eating junk food, that really matters. These are the lifestyle changes that you're going to have to just get rid of. You're going to have to change if you want change. If you want change, you're going to have to inconvenience yourself to get it. You've developed your bad habits, what brought you to this live cast, for a reason over the course of many, many years, and to get rid of them, it's going to take a little bit of work. But this is all stuff that's actually very easy and can be implemented right away. They don't cost anything. They just take simple shifts in your mindset and in your regular routine to do them. So if you are high in fungus and parasites, and you have abdominal bloating, you've got kind of puffiness. Maybe you look a little puffier on the neck where you haven't before. Maybe you've got dark rings around your eyes. These are all indicators that, if you've got dandruff, these are all indicators that, like, you need to do some healing. There are 4 whites that you are going to want to avoid as much as possible. Number 1 is iodized salt. You want to avoid the iodization process in salt and get salt that is as close to nature as possible, like sea salt. Kosher salt's pretty good, but you want to, like the old Morton's, probably the one that most of us all grew up, got a little guy with an umbrella on the front. It's not a good salt. We don't need the iodization, and it is crack to fungus and parasites, right? If you are craving salty and savory foods when you are probably hungrier, that is an indicator that you need to eliminate iodized salt out of your nutrition. And the next white that we want to avoid, of course, is processed sugar. You want to eliminate it as much as possible through your routine, your eating routine throughout the day. So that's kind of obvious. You're going to avoid cakes, candies, all the bad sweet stuff that you do. Now, if you're a coffee drinker, and you just don't want to give up your coffee and your sugar in the morning, definitely do not use the sweeteners. The sweeteners are bad for you. The sweet and low, all the chemical stuff. It's not from nature. It wasn't meant for your digestive system, and it is incredibly hard on a gut which has been overrun by fungus and parasites. I would also avoid actually stevia if you, unless you can get it from a pure source, which is its liquid form. Many years ago, stevia was a great sweetener substitute, but the nutrition industry killed it, and now if you get it in powdered form, it's just full of additives and junk. Don't do it. The Amazon Herb Company actually makes a really good version of it, but do use it sparingly. Honey can be used, but you have to use it sparingly. If you need the sugar in your coffee in the morning, then I would suggest getting raw sugar. You know, the brown, not brown sugar, but it's brown and granularly. It is as close to nature out of the sugar cane as possible. They don't cut it with anything. It's just, you know, literally kind of what they wring out of the sugar cane and use it as it crystallizes. The next white you're going to want to avoid is white flour. Wheat flour is kind of okay, but if you are going to really, if you need to really get rid of your intestinal inflammation, you want your joint and back pain to feel better, you're going to have to eliminate it from your diet. That means bread, pastas. If man made it, basically don't eat it, right? This is a kind of a common thing you're going to see when you are dealing with bad digestive systems that are overrun. But if man has made it, broken it down from nature, then it's probably not something that your digestive system was meant to eat. And you know, if they didn't either go out, pick it out of the ground, or kill it, to slaughter it for you to eat, probably not meant for you to eat. And that is a little paleo, but it's true. You know, like nature has given us up until the 1950s basically everything that we needed in our nutrition ever. You know, it wasn't until the 50s when fast foods really became prevalent, when easy, convenient food started to come up. You know, packaged food started to really get big in the 50s, and you don't need it. You will do yourself so much of a better service by making sure to shop around the perimeter of a food store, because that's where all the fresh foods are. That's all you need. Don't go in the middle. Don't do it. The last thing that we are going to want to avoid is dairy. Yes, I said it, dairy. Cheeses, milks. Now, yogurts are kind of an exception. If you are going to take dairy, then you're going to want to make sure to get full-fat dairy. Fat is your friend. Fat is not your enemy, despite what the diet industry has told you for close to 30 years. Fat is actually really good for you as long as it's a good saturated fat. It's not a polysaturated or trans fat. Again, you're going to want to look for fats that are found in nature. Avocados, steak fat. You know, you can do butter if it's a full fat. Stuff that nature has given us so that we can eat it and you know, use it for energy. Fat is energy. Protein is basically muscle building. You know, carbohydrates is an immune system repair and energy level repair. You know, these are all things that nature designed for us, and it just kind of makes sense. So those are the four whites that you're going to kind of want to avoid. When it comes to water consumption, you're going to want to consume at least half your body's weight in ounces a day. For me, at my weight, it's about 3 to 4 of these if I've done yoga, right? That's a lot. It's a lot of water at first, but when you get used to it, you will really notice a difference in your energy level. And the first thing in the morning you should probably start to get in the habit of is sucking down as much water as you can before you eat, especially if you're a coffee drinker. You know, if you're a coffee drinker and you drink coffee before your first meal, you have immediately put yourself into starvation mode till lunch. So your metabolism isn't really working right. You're kind of burning it, and you will tend not to eat as heavy a meal at breakfast as you should. Bigger breakfasts, some lighter lunches, and small dinners is probably what your body's going to crave once you get all this stuff down. Big heavy meals is kind of, you can do them, but you just got to make sure that your ratios to your metabolic type are correct. So that's kind of the first thing that we can do to alleviate your back pain and your joint pain. The next thing is to get plenty of rest, because we're still talking lifestyle and nutrition. The number one thing that I always see when we get people coming in is that they don't get enough sleep. They don't get enough good quality sleep. It is so important. Our bodies heal themselves in our sleep periods. And if you are one who has chronic pain, or you've got a back injury that just won't go away, try going to sleep before 10 o'clock and getting a good 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Early. Yeah, you got to go to bed early. And I know that it's super tough in this town because it's a fun town. You know, dinners usually start at 8, you know, so you're already eating a little bit later than you should. And then you add alcohol on top of that. It is a recipe for not a good night's sleep. If you, of course, avoid alcohol, but if you do not consume it after 8 p.m. That is, you need time for it to metabolize out of your system and get out of your system so you can have a good, solid night's rest. Now, the next one, which is number 2 way that we can relieve your joint and back pain, is exercise correctly. And so if you have joint pain, and remember the back pain is encompassed in this, you do not want to do a high-intensity interval training boot camp, very hardcore CrossFit type exercise routine in the very beginning. For the simple reason is that you are more than likely hormonally overloaded. And exercise technically is stress on the body. So if you're already stressed out, you already are, experiencing a lot of pain, and it's chronic, that's just an indicator that your hormonal system can't take heavy exercise. So if you do that, you're going to hurt yourself. Like, you will literally hurt yourself. Your body is going to say, I don't want to fucking do this. You shouldn't have done it. Don't do it. You're hurt. And then you're out for 6 months. Then you get in the loop of, oh, well, I tried it once, and I'm just going to have to live with the pain, get the surgery, get the medication. It's the wrong way. The best way for you to make it so that your hormonal system begins to lower itself down so that your body can take more rigorous exercise, especially if fat loss is your goal, is to do heart rate down exercises. So that means if you want to try to run to get rid of your joint pain, bad idea. If you're going to be doing, weightlifting is good, but you have to make sure that you do, you got to do less time in the gym, no more than 30 minutes at the max, and less weight in the very beginning. Remember, it's just about moving and getting your blood flowing so that the body can kind of lower its cortisol levels and alleviate the stress on your system so your digestive system begins to move again and your inflammation goes down, thus making the back pain and joint pain a lot easier. Yoga is excellent for this. Tai Chi, you're going to want softer kind of exercises, and it's not forever. Remember, it's only for a limited time, right? You only have to do it until you start to feel better, and you can start adding runs. You can start adding other stuff. Like, I do martial arts, but I can't do it all the time because when my system is overloaded and stressed, I have to really focus on my yoga rather than doing a hard, intense martial arts workout, because it will fuck me up for like a week and a half if I do, right? You just have to learn what your body wants. Now, this is especially prevalent for you athletes who are dealing with a joint injury or a back injury and you have got competition coming up. You're overtraining. You're doing too much. There is a power in doing less, especially over the ages of 30 and 40. You will perform better, you'll be more explosive, and you'll be in a better state of performance if you follow these guidelines. And a good indicator that you need a working in type exercise, which is what we're talking about, is that you are, after exercise, you're really, really wiped out. Like, you need a nap. Like, you just feel sapped and completely depleted. Or the next day you wake up and your joints are really achy. You just can't, you kind of feel a little groggy, and you just can't, like, get your energy level back, and it almost feels like you're getting the flu. These are indicators that your hormonal system is not okay, and that you need to flip the script and go less intense and with less exercise. Again, this is kind of where yoga goes supreme, because it's not only is it doing stuff that makes your hormonal system better, but it also provides the resistance training that you need, the light cardiovascular that you will be required to, keep your cardiovascular health up, and also it's controllable. So if you are ready for a more intense heart rate up exercise, you can do that with a yoga practice. If you need something super soft, you can do that with a yoga practice. So again, it's very simple, guys. Fix your nutrition and your lifestyle habits that are causing your pain, and 2, do the appropriate type of exercise for your hormonal system so that you can get the healing you need in order to be better, right? Now, this is a proven system. This is exactly what we do with all my clients when they come in. The process, depending on how ill you are, usually takes between 6 months to a year of consistency. But you can start the process and see some benefit in a good 90-day stint. That means that you're going to have to do the third thing, which I highly recommend, is find a mentor, teacher, or coach to help you. Please don't do this by yourself. Unless you are a professional, unless you have an established yoga practice, and even if you do, if you have an established yoga practice, you need a teacher. Right? They go hand in hand. Do not try this on your own. Like, get somebody to help you, because they can propel your results. They can propel you getting out of pain by months. It could take you years to figure this stuff out on your own and take action to do it, much less being held accountable to eating right for 90 days or doing the proper amount of lifestyle nutrition habits for 90 days. Go find somebody you connect with and stay with them for at least 3 months minimum. Listen, if you are jumping from place to place to place to place, right? If you are going on every Groupon trying to seek and find somebody that's going to help you, more power to you. But you're basically starting over every time you start at a new place, right? You are making the process longer. Find a place, stay with it for at least 90 days, and see what happens. If you don't get results in 90 days, because that's about the benchmark, right? To see real results, you've got to, with 90 days of consistent effort, as long as you have done the work, you should see a difference. If you do not see a difference in 90 days, then either A, the work is flawed, or B, you didn't follow it correctly. And, it's really that simple. So find somebody. If you want my help, absolutely. I'll put a link to my website here. We can have a conversation about what's going on in your body, and if I can help you, I will. If I can refer somebody to you that is a little bit more what you're looking for, I will. I know most of the major players in town, and I know most everybody who is really good at what, and I can tell you who's bullshit and who's not. So if you have any questions, guys, I'm going to wrap this up, put them in the comments page here, and if we don't have any questions, we're going to wrap this up because I have a young little boy to go take care of and pick up from school soon. Nothing. Okay, guys, awesome. Well, thank you for watching this. Do me a big favor. I want to try to help as many people with this information as I can. This is stuff that is easily found out. You don't have. I'm not trying to sell anything here. I'm just trying to help as many people and get this information out because so many people are just like you. You don't realize like your coworker might be suffering from like super bad sciatica or like digestive issues, and you just don't know because people don't talk about it. So please give me a heart, give me a like, get this into the world so it can help more people. We're trying to do this as organically as we can, so that we won't have to spend a lot of money on it. Honestly, Facebook marketing is very expensive now, and we're trying to save on costs by having you guys help us out. So again, any questions, guys? If there's anything you want to know about, put it in the comments page, and I will do my next live cast on it. Thanks a bunch. Bye.